Hey everybody, welcome back to this channel. Today we're talking about something that can really fundamentally change your life. That's confidence. And if you want to improve your public speaking or step up in your career or just feel better about yourself, confidence isn't just a personality trait, it's a trainable skill. And the best part about that is neuroscience shows us exactly how we can build our confidence. I'm Dr. Alan Johnson, and on this channel, I talk about the mind, well-being, productivity, and change for thinkers, makers, and everyone in between. Confidence isn't about faking it until you make it. It's about rewiring your brain to naturally believe in yourself. And by understanding the science behind confidence, you can really begin to train your brain to work for you rather than against you. So let's dive straight in. First of all, let's break down what confidence actually is from a brain science perspective. Confidence isn't just a feeling, it is a neural pattern that your brain strengthens over time. So when you succeed at something, even in small ways, your brain reinforces that experience through the release of dopamine, the neurotransmitter that's associated with motivation and reward. We feel good when we get that hit of dopamine. And the more we experience success, the stronger this pathway becomes. But here's the catch. The brain also remembers failure in the same exact way. So if you repeatedly tell yourself, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I can't speak in front of a big group, you are strengthening those neural pathways that are associated with self-doubt. So this is why confidence isn't just about skills, it's about rewiring your brain to expect success rather than failure. And the good thing here is that you can actually change those neural patterns with the right techniques. So let's talk about how we do that in some of the parts of the brain that play a role here. Our prefrontal cortex is the part of our brain that's responsible for the big stuff, decision making, planning, and self control. It's right behind our forehead. And we can think of it like the CEO, the part of our brain that sets goals and takes actions. And when you feel confident, your prefrontal cortex is fully engaged and it is helping you to analyze a situation logically rather than just emotionally. But when self-doubt kicks in, which it does for all of us, the amygdala takes over. And the amygdala is what processes fear and anxiety. And that's what can trigger a stress response or make you feel nervous or that sense of, oh, I just can't do this. So how do you strengthen the prefrontal cortex and quiet self-doubt? Really simple. Practice decision making and taking small, calculated risks. It doesn't have to be big challenges and risks that you overcome or succeed in that are going to be retraining those neural pathways for success. Even the small things that you are able to set out and achieve and show yourself that you're able to do make it easier to take those bigger steps in the future. One of the biggest barriers that we experience to confidence is something called the negativity bias, because our brains are wired to focus more on the threats than they are on the positive experiences. So our brain is more attuned to creating those neural pathways for the bad stuff than it is for the good stuff. So we are always going to be inclined more toward negativity. This was really useful for the survival of our ancient ancestors. But in our lives today, it can just make us dwell on our failures rather than our wins. So to start to counteract this, we need to train the brain to focus on success. And there's a really simple but really powerful way that we can begin to do this. At the end of each day, Write down 3 wins for that day, no matter how small. What this does over time, and it seems like just a simple thing that you're doing, it seems like it won't make a change. This begins to condition your brain to seek evidence of success rather than to seek evidence of failure. And it gradually shifts your default mindset from self doubt to self trust. And the more that you reinforce these positive reflections, the more your brain rewires itself to expect competence over failure. This is what real confidence actually is. It's changing the brain to see itself differently. And here's where things get really exciting. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined experiences. And lots of studies show that when you vividly visualize yourself succeeding, whether it's giving a speech or at an interview or performing well in a particular project, your brain activates the same neural pathways as it would if you were actually doing that thing. So, this is why elite athletes and performers use mental rehearsal to train their minds for success. And you can do exactly the same thing. You can even try it now, just closing your eyes and imagining yourself really confidently doing something that you've been nervous about, whether it's speaking in front of a group or trying a new activity or raising your hand and sharing something in a meeting at work. Really feel those emotions of confidence. You're just imagining it in your mind. Even if you can't yet imagine doing that in real life, you can work toward imagining it. And that is already going to begin setting out those neural pathways. And repeating this daily, visualizing your confident, complete, engaged self is going to be making those changes and contributing to all of that good external work that you are doing as well. Because what's ultimately happening there is we're toying around with what's called our default mode network, or the DMN, and that's that little voice in our head. And the DMN is that part of our brain that's responsible for self-talk and introspection. And when it's overactive, it really can fuel self-doubt and rumination. And that's that voice of the inner critic that we hear. That's the voice that we want to not have to listen to as often. And there's 3 really good ways that we can begin doing this. First of all, there's some fantastic research that shows how the DMN can be retrained through mindfulness meditation. If you've never practiced mindfulness before, I'll pop a link below to help get you started. And what it does is helps to quiet that negative self-talk and keeps you present. It enables your innate confidence to unfold and emerge in its own time. There's something else that you can do as well. It's called cognitive reframing. And that's when we consciously hear those limiting beliefs in our head and we change the words around a little bit. So instead of saying, I can't play basketball, instead we cognitively reframe that and say, I can learn how to play basketball. Instead of saying that I am never going to be able to speak in front of a group, we can say, I am practicing the skills so that I can speak in front of a group. It seems like a really simple thing, but again, and you see what this is doing, it is rewiring those neural pathways. It is not letting our mind automatically go down that path of negativity and disappointment and doubt. It is helping us go toward positivity. If you've ever heard of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, that's exactly what this is about. And if you think that's something you want to explore more, there's a lot of research and resources out there in NLP. And something else, the last thing that I want to add here is progress tracking. Now, we maybe associate progress tracking or reward charts with, young kids doing their chores. But trust me when I say, Giving yourself a gold star when you do a certain task or overcome a certain challenge or you meet a certain goal, that is going to be giving your brain proof that you are growing. All of these things seem small and mundane and perhaps a little bit simplistic, and none of them are the magic tool. None of them are going to build your confidence overnight. But if we recall that confidence is not a personality trait, but rather it is a way that our mind is functioning, we can use all of these tools to begin to change the way that our mind is functioning. So there you have it. Confidence isn't something that you are born with. It is something that we all have to work on and all contribute to the development in our brain's natural wiring. And I think it's really important if we're working on developing confidence to understand the neuroplasticity that is going to enable us to change our brains. So strengthening the prefrontal cortex, using visualization, tweaking your habits to boost key neurotransmitters. You can literally reprogram your brain for confidence. So now I want to hear from you. In the comments below, let me know what's one thing that you're going to do this week to boost your confidence. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more brain-based strategies for success. I'll see you next time.